Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel, and I'm your host for LT Productions. You are watching I Watch and Watch. We are covering Beauty in Black, currently streaming on Netflix. This is season 2, and I am on episode 5. You can watch the other episodes 1 through 4. It's on my playlist. I will be also covering episode 6 on today. So I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video. You can also subscribe. And you can share the video. Leave your comments below. Now let's get into this episode. Okay. So, in the last episode, episode 4, we saw that Kimmy, Rain, Sylvie were making a break for it because of them thinking that Horace was about to do something to them after finding out that Angel had gone on to glory. However, we know that Angel is not deceased as of yet. But anyways, she's driving. There's a truck there as she has to veer off the road, and she ends up driving into a ditch. She can't get out of it, and she's just driving and trying to get up out of there. Horace gets out of his truck and comes over there and saying, "Are you going someplace?" The security guard comes over there and says, "Hold on, stop, you're in a ditch, da 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 da. I gotta get up out of here." She says, "Just please let them go." And he said, "What? No, nobody's holding you here." The security guard said that. Nobody's holding you. So then all of a sudden, Kimmy sees Angel get out of the truck and come near the car, and she was, of course, surprised that he was alive and all that good stuff. At that point, Kimmy was ready to surrender and to get out of the car, and Horace wasn't feeling good. Angel hurried up and rushed Horace back to the house, along with the rest of them. The security guard ended up pulling the car up out of the ditch. All right, so back in the house, they set him down, and Horace wanted to know, "Where were you going?" She basically was saying, "I had to get up out of here. It seems like you just don't really trust me." Horace looks very upset in regards to that, and he goes to his room. Rain was like, "You need to go talk to him." He said, "Look," she said, "Kimmy, he's just gonna have to get over it." What do you mean get over it, ma'am? You're the one that's acting irrational. Does she have a little bit of space to really say something about that? Yeah, but at the same time, you didn't even talk to this man who has done everything that you wanted to try to protect you and getting you out of trouble over and over and over and over and over again. And you didn't even want to try to get an explanation out of him before just trying to leave. But I know it's a trauma response. Lord, I'm sorry, I got to segue for just 1 second. Did y'all see Nick Cannon? He says the reason that he was just so out there and made all these children is from a trauma response. Trauma of what? You got a divorce and never talked about it, and that was trauma? Because he didn't even go on about that, and whatever. But back to us. Angel wants an explanation. Kimmy wasn't in the mood as of yet. Rain decides she's gonna go back to the club. Hey, you need to fix this, Kimmy. Okay, so we go over to the other Bellary home, Roy's home. Olivia has called Roy, and she now is trying to gossip and trying to get his wife in trouble. Olivia was like, "Where's your wife?" Roy, "Good question, I don't know. Mallory, she's not here." "I know where she's at." "Where is she at, Mom?" "She's fucking Attorney Varney." And Roy said, "There's no way that that's happening." "Yes, she is. I hope he takes her from you." Because they're trading insults along the way in their conversation. And Roy says there's no way that he is because he is fucking Charles. And then he says, "Get off my line," and hangs up, and that rattles her cage. Lord, these folks are some gossiping heifers and heathens up in here. All right, so Varney drops off Mallory. Varney wants to be a gentleman to help assist to get Mallory into the house. And she was like, "No, that bastard is up in there." And basically he was going to go back home. "You're going to go back to Chicago, downtown?" "No, why don't you just go over to Charles? You're already effing him. Go on over there." Especially at this time of night. Basically why she was like, "Don't do all that stuff." Mallory gets out the car and all that good stuff. They talk about Olivia. Roy says that Mallory said that she ran into Olivia at the restaurant and she was in a drunken place and we dropped her off at home. And Roy says, oh, she's back to her old ways. And Mallory's like, what? Yeah, when we were younger. And it was a lot worse back then. So she was a drunk. You know, I know that we're getting like spoon-fed some of the other backstories. I think the most of the backstories that we do have right now is Kimmy and what has happened with her. But I really want to delve into what makes this family tick the way that they do. So, and then he thought, well, I thought that the church was helping her and da-da-da-da-da. And Mallory's like, how can the church help her when she gave birth to Satan? One thing Mallory's going to do is going to do what she can to try to get you to go over the edge. Literally over the edge. So then she says, if I gave birth to you, I'd be doing crack, heroin, black tar heroin. I didn't know that existed, but whatever. Fentanyl. Lord Jesus. Mallory goes into her bedroom and she's getting her towel and she's ready to take a shower. Roy comes in and he wants to now watch his wife take a shower. And she's like, please, whatever. You can't shoot or get hard, talking about his anatomy. Then she insults him more by talking about crooked, what did he say? The broken crooked dingaling. I said, now, Mallory, you're going to leave the crooked ones alone. That's all I'll say about that. Then Roy says, you know, you're the only one that says anything about my dingling, but the hoes that I got don't say that. I said, ooh, okay. Olivia calls Charles. Charles is in the bathroom at the club getting high with the other dude, Dylan. So she calls and says, are you ucking? She's got this certain expression behind it. Attorney Barney? Mom, what? Like, then she says, how are y'all together? That's a big ninja. I said. Then she says, who's the bottom? I said, Charles, are you climbing trees? Nah, I seen you. How can I say this? Varney distributes bottom behavior. I'll just say that much. Characteristics, I'll say that much. And behavior. Charles distributes top. I mean, that's a tall oak. But obviously you're doing something right over there, Charles. But you've always said about, you know, you want this piece of ASS. So I think you are the bottom in the relationship, Charles. And then Varney is the top, I guess. But whatever. Anyways, I said, Lord, that is so, oof, that's a lot. All right. So back at Horace's mansion, Angel's really enjoying his room and can really get to this lifestyle. Kimmy comes in and she fills him in on what all has transpired. She got married and he hates his sons and da-da-da-da-da. After filling him in, the butler, James, calls Kimmy and says that Horace wants to see her. Kimmy goes and sees Horace and asks, you know, can I do anything for you? Horace says that you can start trusting me. And she's basically just kind of, well, he said, well, when I give my word, you can take that to the bank. Literally, too. So, she said, look, please hear me out a little bit. When I heard about the whole Angel thing and you were involved with that, I got scared, da-da-da-da-da. And he was able to hear her out and just say, I can see where you could have just probably just lost it right then and there. Cool. However, then Horace said, you know, you're going to have to get rid of Sylvie. And she was like, what? I'm not going to do anything to her. And she said, that's exactly right. You're not going to do anything to her. She says, and that's why she needs to leave. You can't love anyone or care anyone in this thing that you're doing for me. But he did say, you know, if you want to leave, you can leave. But please go out the front door instead of trying to do all this extra manipulation stuff and secretive stuff behind my back. Because as of yet, I haven't seen Horace do anything behind her back since they actually met. It's been you that's been running game on him and all that stuff in the beginning, and all he has been honest. He says that this is a game that you have to play, and what's the word he put? Lord. Oh Lord. One second. What's the name of this episode? Sorry about this. I just didn't write it down well enough. Okay. This game is called Hunter and Prey. That's it. I chose you because you're smart, cunning, crafty, and I need that. He ended up telling her to grab this book of something with the business profile, and she was like, "That's something in here is kind of odd." And he was like, "What?" Well, the part where it shows that the CEO and the COO have the same amount of power. And he said, "Yes, I was both of them. Now you are the COO. That's Chief Operating Officer." Then we go back to the club. Rain then went to the club with Alex and all that. Rain catches up with Felicia just to get a rundown of what's happening around here. She wants to know where Dega is. Felicia was like, "I don't know, but there is a new person that's about to get a BBL that's sitting with Shake Shake." And then Felicia wanted to get some information like, "How's Kimmy doing?" And then Rain was like, "Bye, Felicia," because her name is Felicia. She goes on over to Shake Shake and this new girl. And Shake Shake's trying to convince this girl, "You need to get this BBL and all that, da 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 da." Body was there to confirm, "Yeah, go on and get your BBL. She really did me good, da 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 da." Is it me, or does Shake Shake remind you of Tiffany Haddish? I was like, wait, quite a resemblance there. Anyways, Shake Shake goes off because they're asking her to come to the floor to dance. And Body. Oh, they did talk about Body. Rain did bring up to Felicia, okay, so Body's in the hospital. And Felicia was like, "No, she's not. Who told you that? Da 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 da. If so, then her family's sitting up here scamming, getting this GoFundMe for her funeral, da 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 da." At this point, it's still up in the air on if Body is alive or not. And I'm just like, what? Why are we leaving this open-ended? That's the main one that I want to go on, but anyway. So as Rain is talking with the new girl, like, "Hey, you know, I can go with you, da 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 da. I'll be there in support." The new girl liked it, and she agreed. "Okay, let's meet up and let's go with Dega." Basically, you know that Rain is just using this girl so she can get to Dega because she got some unfinished business in regards to what she did to her booty. All right. Roy arrives and he's going to the club, but Andy's sitting up here saying his name. He's like, "Don't mention my name," and Ninja. And of course he apologized. Like, there's something that's off about this Andy person. And I'm trying to figure out, is this like an FBI dude or what? Because it's quite off at how he is. He was just a driver and now he's in here in the club. How did that happen? Let's see where we're at. Okay. Dylan, who is the stripper that's trying to drug up Charles enough to take him home so he can rob them. He's talking with Andy, you know, Dylan's already made it back to the house, I believe. Or no, not yet. Dylan's talking with Andy at the club saying, "You know, I need you and like two other dudes so that we can go to Charles' place and get everything that we're supposed to get." Dylan does go to Charles' place, and basically in this whole, "This is nice," you know the type that never had anything and now just so amazed by everything. Next thing you know, Varney appears out of nowhere because he got a key. Varney ends up arguing with Charles because, one, "What are you doing in my place?" And then Varney doesn't like that he's got some other guy up in there, da 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 da. So Dylan takes his happy tail and now he's scouring the place and finding out different things so he can send back pictures to Andy like, oh, we good, we're about to get this, da 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 da. So after fighting with Varney, I guess Varney ended up leaving, and Charles came to the back, and he didn't catch him taking pictures, but he looked suspicious. Charles was like, what are you doing? He's like, just waiting on you. Like, you should be in the bed naked by now. He's like, oh, I need to take a shower, da 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 da. Charles shows him the shower, and he says, you know, go take your shower and get naked. Roy goes to the VIP room, and he wants Felicia, and is asking for 2 other girls. We're gonna find out something interesting about Roy pretty soon. Alex and Rain. Okay, so Rain is gonna go to the hotel where Dega is, and Alex is like, do you have some type of plan in regards to all this? Rain said, I got a gun here. Alex was like, that's cute. But Rain he wanted to help her. And she was like, well, I ain't the type to hand over my enemies. You know, I'm a real cool chick and all that. Until you really cross me, that's when you see a different side to me. And that's kind of the nature of many people anyways. So, anyways, Alex said, let me help you out with this. So then Dega's in there with Shake Shake and a technician. The girl's still a little bit scared, and they're giving her alcohol to kind of calm her down. It's the same thing that they did with Rain. And then next thing you know, they start talking about Rain, and Dega was like, Rain, what's up? Where's she at? Rain knocks at the door, and they open the door for her. So that was the end of that episode. So there's not a lot that's happening in these mid episodes, but it starts to cook up towards the end. Anyways, I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Stay tuned for episode 6 that's coming right after this. I think by the weekend I'll have episodes 7 and 8 up, because this week's going to be quite busy for me. So anything else you're interested in as far as reality TV, The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, they start on tonight. I will be reviewing in the morning for you guys. And then I got my other shows, Sisters and Zatima, that's currently streaming on BET+. And then all my other weekend stuff. So anyways, stay tuned for episode 6. Like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next one, peace.